You ever live in one of those picture-perfect Florida communities? The kind with palm trees that never shed, driveways cleaner than hospital floors, and HOA rules longer than the Bible? Yeah, welcome to Cypress Palms Estates. Population: too rich to care and too bored to notice they're being robbed blind. When I moved here 5 years ago, I thought I was buying peace and sunshine. What I actually bought was front row seats to the most ridiculous heist in suburban history. Let me tell you how my HOA, a bunch of middle-aged power junkies with too much free time, managed to steal nearly $500,000 right under everyone's nose, and how I made sure they paid every cent back. It all started with our HOA president, Linda Rowe. Imagine if a golden retriever and a tax auditor had a baby. Always smiling, always organizing, and always reminding us about community spirit while fining people for parking a half-inch off the curb. The HOA board meetings were like bad sitcoms. You had Linda running the show, her husband Tom acting like he'd been elected to Congress, and the treasurer, Marcy Dunn, who couldn't do math without a calculator the size of a brick. For the first year, everything looked normal. Fees paid, lawns trimmed, pool cleaned. Then, one day, the board sent a letter. Due to rising maintenance costs, HOA dues will increase from $120 a month to $200 a month. No explanation, no breakdown, just rising costs. Florida, my friends, the land where the humidity makes people's brains melt. Most neighbors shrugged. It's fine, the pool looks nice. Yeah, for $80 extra a month, it should have come with a free lifeguard and a margarita bar. But I wasn't buying it. I'm an insurance adjuster. I make a living sniffing out nonsense. So I decided to look at the books. I emailed Linda. Hey, mind sending over the HOA financials for last year? I just want to understand where the money's going. You'd think I'd asked for state secrets. Her reply was, the documents are private and residents can't access them without board approval. Wrong answer. HOA law in Florida says any homeowner can inspect records with written notice. So I sent another email, polite, firm, with a copy of the statute. A week later, I got a manila folder dropped in my mailbox. No cover page, no summary, just a stack of scanned invoices and half-torn bank statements. Classic move. Confuse the residents, keep them quiet. But here's the thing about me. I enjoy confusion. It's where I find truth hiding behind stupidity. So I spent a Saturday afternoon combing through those papers. Within an hour, my eyebrows had climbed into orbit.
First, there was Suncoast Landscaping, supposedly paid $12,000 a month. Funny, since the landscapers I saw were two guys in a rusty pickup called Jose's Yard Care. Then, Atlantic Pool Systems, $8,000 monthly for maintenance and chemical treatment. Our pool guy's name is Carl. He drives a beat-up Toyota and charges $600. But the real kicker, Bayfront Security Solutions, $15,000 for night patrol. Night patrol? The only thing patrolling our neighborhood at night is raccoons. I looked up the company names. Suncoast Landscaping, dissolved in 2018. Atlantic Pool Systems, no business license. Bayfront Security, registered to Tom Rowe, Linda's husband. Bingo. At this point, I was half mad, half thrilled. I knew I'd stumbled onto something big. So I did what any self-respecting Floridian would do. I went full detective. Every morning before work, I'd walk my dog past the clubhouse just to see who was coming and going. Tom's truck was there constantly, even on weekdays when maintenance wasn't happening. I took pictures. I checked the county's public records. Guess what I found? Tom and Linda had just bought a vacation condo in Clearwater, paid in cash. Cash! Their combined income was a retired teacher's pension and a consulting business that didn't even have a website. I may not be Sherlock Holmes, but come on, the math wasn't mathing. On month 3, I'd built a spreadsheet that could make an IRS agent weep. Every payment, every vendor, every bogus invoice. I noticed something else. The board kept announcing projects that never happened. A new playground for the kids? Delayed. Tennis court resurfacing? Coming soon. Community center renovation? In progress. All in progress. Forever. Meanwhile, the HOA account was hemorrhaging money like a Vegas slot machine. I decided to confront them publicly. HOA meetings are supposed to be boring. This one wasn't. The room was packed. Retirees with clipboards, moms with strollers, and me, the guy who brought popcorn because I knew what was about to happen. Linda stood up in her pastel blazer, smiling like a politician about to lie. "Welcome, neighbors. Tonight we'll review our quarterly report." She started talking about unforeseen expenses and community development when I raised my hand. "Yeah, hi Linda. Can you explain why Bayfront Security, a company owned by your husband, was paid $15,000 last month for patrols that don't exist?" You could have heard a golf tee drop. Linda froze. Tom's face turned red enough to qualify for an emergency beacon. Those are private contracts," she stammered. "No, they're not," I interrupted. "They're paid with our money, and I have every invoice right here." I pulled out my folder and dropped it on the table like a mic. Half the room gasped. The other half finally realized what rising costs meant. Linda tried to shut me down, but it was too late. Someone was live streaming the meeting to the neighborhood Facebook group. Within an hour, the video hit 2,000 views. By morning, the comment section looked like a digital lynch mob. The next week, the board set out an official statement, claiming there'd been a misunderstanding with vendor paperwork. Classic gaslight move. But I wasn't backing down. I took my evidence to the Florida Department of Business and Professional Regulation, the people who oversee HOAs. They told me to file a complaint, so I did. Then I emailed it to the local news. 2 days later, a reporter called me. She loved the story. Small HOA, big scandal. The next morning, Channel 4 News parked a van right outside the community gate. You should have seen Linda's face when the reporter walked up during her morning jog. She looked like she'd swallowed a lemon whole. Once the story aired, everything fell apart fast. Residents demanded a full audit, the county froze the HOA's bank account, Tom tried to delete the board's emails. Bad move, because Gmail saves everything.
Within a week, investigators found that over $480,000 had been siphoned into accounts controlled by the Rose and Marcy, the treasurer. They'd been running the scam for 4 years. They even created fake email chains to approve invoices that never existed. My personal favorite, a $9,000 expense for emergency palm tree replacement. No storm, no missing trees, just pure creative accounting. When the police finally came, it was quiet. No sirens, no drama. Just 2 detectives, a warrant, and one very surprised Linda Rowe in her robe. She tried to play the victim. "It's all a misunderstanding," she cried as they cuffed her. Tom wasn't home. Apparently, he'd taken a business trip. The same business trip that ended in Georgia, where he was arrested trying to withdraw cash from the HOA account. Marcy turned herself in 2 days later after posting a Facebook rant about toxic neighbors and fake news. Yeah, good luck explaining that to the judge. The trial took 6 months. I was called as a witness 3 times. Turns out my spreadsheet became the backbone of the prosecution's case. The evidence was so airtight, even their lawyers stopped trying halfway through. The jury deliberated for 3 hours. Guilty. All 3 of them. Linda got 8 years, Tom got 6, Marcy 4 plus restitution. And because the HOA's insurance covered fraud, the community got its money back. Every single penny. Our dues dropped back to $120 a month. The board was re-elected, this time with people who actually knew how to read a balance sheet. We even got that playground finally built. The slide squeaks like crazy, but every time I hear it,
I smile. That sound? That's justice. You'd think this story ends there, but it taught me something bigger. See, HOAs were designed to keep communities beautiful, but too often they turn into mini kingdoms where a few people control everyone else's wallet. Add a little greed, and boom, you've got a con in khakis. So here's my advice if you ever move into an HOA. Ask questions. Don't let anyone tell you the books are private. They're not. Follow the money. Vendors, contracts, expenses, all public record. Watch for lifestyle upgrades. If your HOA president suddenly buys a boat, start asking what's funding it. Document everything. Screenshots are worth more than signatures. Never assume someone else is watching, because often, no one is. People like Linda thrive on silence. They count on your laziness and your fear of confrontation. But once one person, just one, starts pulling the thread, the whole sweater unravels. A few months after the case closed, I got a handwritten note in my mailbox. No return address, just 5 words. You did the right thing. I smiled. I didn't need thanks. I had my neighborhood back. The lawns looked the same, the palm trees still swayed, but the air felt cleaner, honest. Sometimes, justice doesn't come with applause. It comes quietly, like a Florida sunset after a long storm. And if you listen closely, you can almost hear the sound of a squeaky playground swing, reminding you that every once in a while, the good guys actually win.